Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Luis again. Today I'm going to talk about something that I practice on a daily basis, and I'm going to send this video to people that I know, people that I'm trying to help out. And so, just give you a little backstory. When I came back from Europe, I was 235 pounds. I tried losing weight, and I did lose a little bit of weight. I used the calorie in, calorie out method. I would eat 6 times a day, following that bullshit advice. That's what I call it, right? It's bullshit. One thing I noticed is that every time I would eat every 2 hours or 3 hours, I was starving. And by the time I got home, I was still hungry, right? It was it was devastating. I hated it. So what did I do? I started doing some research, and I saw the Joe Rogan podcast, and I learned about intermittent fasting. I didn't really understand what intermittent fasting was. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what is fasting? And I was kind of scared. Like, when I'm fasting, like, aren't you supposed to eat every 2 hours or 3 hours, right? So I did a little bit of research on it, and I found out, obviously when you're in a fasted state, your body goes into fat burning, right? Your body burns fat as fuel. And there's 2 different types of ketosis. One is ketosis like starvation, when like you're basically dying and your body's going through ketosis. And the other one is ketosis, but your body is just, your mitochondria is used to burning fat, right? There's specific names for it, and I apologize for not giving you the specific names, but there's 2 different versions of ketosis, right? So then I started looking into it, and I started learning a lot of stuff about Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg's really badass. I know he's just a chiropractor and all, but he's really badass. He does a lot of his research, and it's amazing. So I started off by eating 3 times a day, no snacks, right? Just water. And then I started realizing I wasn't so hungry in the morning anymore, and I started eating 2 times a day in intermittent fasting. So when I first started off, I would eat from, let's say, I would eat once early in the morning, lunch, and then dinner. That's how I started off. Okay, no snacks, nothing, just those 3 meals, that's it. Then I started off eating 2 times a day, which is a lot easier. So all I did is just skip breakfast. So I would go to work, eat at 11:30. By the time I got home, maybe at 4, I would start eating at 4 o'clock, and that's it, right? That's all I would do. Then I started getting to the point where, like, I think once I missed lunch, and I was like, oh crap, like I didn't eat lunch, and then I just ate at dinner time. And that's when I started following Simland. A real cool guy. Watch his YouTube channel. It's pretty amazing. And I started practicing omad, 1 meal a day, or the warrior diet, right? You eat 1 meal a day. And it was fucking amazing for several reasons. One, I didn't have to pack meals. I didn't have to make lunches. I hated doing that. Shit was annoying. I have to ride my bicycle. I had like this big ass bag, and it was really freaking annoying. I had all these meals. I got rid of that shit. I didn't have to wash dishes in the morning. I didn't have to prep my breakfasts. I didn't have to do any of that crap. Got home, went, ate my 1 meal a day, washed my dishes. That's it. I was done. Super easy. Not only that, I started getting into ketosis, right? And ketosis allows you to burn your own body fat. So you're not feeling hungry all fucking day. What are some of the things that happened? Clarity of mind. I was able to fight my depression with it. Now that might not be the case for everyone, but for me it certainly was. I ate again. I still continue to eat 1 meal a day, but I felt better. I felt stronger. I felt faster after I was done eating, obviously, but I had a clarity of mind. I was happier. You don't need to eat every 3 hours. You don't need to do that. And then when you eat is very important too. If you're eating shit foods like hot dogs, pizzas, and you're eating crap, well, yeah, you're going to feel like crap. Healthy ketosis or a carnivore diet, those 2. If you want to go on a vegan diet, perfectly fine. But if you want to go on a vegan diet or vegetarian diet, that's fine. Problem is that you're going to have to eat at least 3 times a day. And then every time you eat, you spike insulin. Insulin tells your body to store fat, which is perfectly normal. It's a survival method, right? It's a survival method that all animals have, especially mammals, right? You store fat so that during the winter, you can use that body fat as fuel. And then during the spring, you munch up again, right? It's a survival mechanism. But the problem is that we don't live in those times anymore. We live in a different lifestyle now. So eat 1 meal a fucking day. That's all you need to do is eat one meal a day. And then what you choose to eat is very important. And there's this whole thing about cholesterol, right? And like, oh, cholesterol is bad. Cholesterol is not bad for you. High levels of triglycerides can be bad for you, right? If you have really, really high levels, and yes, of course that's bad, especially if you're eating bread, pasta. Yes, you're gonna spike your insulin. You're gonna tell your insulin to store that body fat, and you're not gonna just store it in your fat cells. You're gonna store it in your liver. You're gonna store it in your pancreas. You're gonna store it in your muscles. Why do you think cows have fatty muscles? They eat corn. They grass fed. Sorry, corn fed. They have a lot of marble in the meat. Tastes delicious, but that's how you get fucking fat in the muscle. You eat foods that spike up insulin. So when you're eating one meal a day, eat foods that are low carb, low carbohydrates, one meal a day. You get ripped. It feels great. Now the other thing is too is that I think I've plateaued, right? I mean, last week I ate like an idiot. I'm not really too worried. I might have gained 5 pounds. I've already lost 2 or 3 pounds of it. Not a big deal. But for those of you that are still losing weight, okay, so I would say, yeah, do that. Go from 3 meals, 2 meals to 1 meal a day. And then what you really want to do is you want to practice prolonged fasting. Prolonged fasting is fasting for longer than 24 hours, right? You fast for 36 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. I've gone hiking at the Veterans Park, one of the most, like a very difficult hike up that big hill, I think it was either a 3 or 4 day fast. I fast for 4 days. I felt great, no problem, not an issue. And what do? Well, there's things you have to do in a fast before and after, right? Before you fast, before a prolonged fast, you want to make sure you have a nutritious meal, nutritional yeast, steak, eggs, maybe some cod liver or beef or calf liver. You want to get as much as nutrients as you can, right? Avocados. You want to eat high nutritious, high fat food. That's really healthy for you. Whole foods. You don't want to eat processed fucking foods. Processed foods are bad for you. So you do that, and then you start fasting. Then what do? There's 2 minerals you're going to need. Sodium, potassium. If you don't take sodium and potassium, you're going to feel like shit. If you just drink regular water, if you drink coffee or teas, yes, that coffee and tea is going to help you out with caffeine. But the problem is you're going to urinate all of your electrolytes. That's not a good thing. You need to make sure that when you are prolonged fasting, you're consuming sodium and potassium. It can be potassium chloride, sodium chloride, or it can be, potassium, I forgot how to pronounce it, but it's basically cream of tartar. Cream of tartar or baking soda. Those two, they have no taste. The chloride ones taste salty, the other ones don't. Also, apple cider vinegar. So you use those things. You don't want to take more than 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar a day. Give you diarrhea. Not diarrhea, but make you go poop very fast. But anyways, the idea is that you use those things, right? You use them, and then I think it's for 2 liters, you have like around 1 teaspoon of potassium chloride and half a teaspoon of sodium chloride, right? You can use Himalayan salt. That really helps you out. You won't feel tired. You're in ketosis. You'll use your own body fat. You'll lose a lot of weight. Follow the snake diet. The snake diet, for some people, it's a little extreme. His name is Cole. He's a cool guy. He seems a little aggressive, but he's a real cool guy. Well, follow his. He has different techniques too. But you use those electrolytes when the prolonged fasting. What I'm going to start practicing, what I really want to start practicing, I think I've hit a plateau. I still have a little bit of body fat everywhere. Just a little bit. It's not a lot, but I really want to get shredded. So I'm going to start doing alternate fasting. So let's say I'll eat Monday, and then I'll eat, and I've done this before. As a matter of fact, I was just watching Cole's new video on his new routines, and that's exactly what I've done before. I eat one day, I don't eat the other. I eat one day, I don't eat the other. Alternate fasting. And on the days that you are about to eat, you work your ass off at the gym. And then the days that you don't eat, you just have a light workout, like do some light cardio, walking and stuff like that. A light swim. But that is the best way and the fastest way to lose weight, and it's perfectly healthy. Not even just that, fasting, right? What the beautiful thing about fasting is that you go through something called autophagy. So autophagy is basically your body recycles its old and shit cells that it doesn't need anymore, right? Basically consumes it and rebuilds it, right? Creates new DNA, not creates new DNA, but the new cells, right? New cells that are created, those are fresh new DNA cells, and those reproduce instead of having the old crappy ones reproduce. So autophagy is basically taking all this toxic out of your body, all these cells that aren't as efficient anymore, and it gets recycles them. It's fucking amazing. And think about this. Every living organism that restricts their calories and fasts, right, extend their lifespan. Everything from yeast, from flies to you fucking name it, from mice, you name it, they all do it. It's the same thing with us. We're animals here on this earth. Their fasting is the most amazing life hack ever. People think that you're starving. You're not starving. You're starving if you're eating carbohydrates and you can't get into ketosis. Then yeah, you're going to consume your muscles. Yeah, why? Because your body's going to need glycogen. It's going to need sugar, and it's going to get that from protein. It can convert protein to sugar. Yeah, it's going to eat your muscles. But if you don't do that, if you choose to go into ketosis, then you're going to burn body fat, and you'll feel even better. You'll feel amazing. This shit's unreal. Anyways, leave me a comment below, see if you guys want more advice on this. Also, I'm going to send this video to the people that I know who I'm trying to help out, lose weight. I'm kind of consulting. Hope you guys all have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed my 100 push-ups. I know I took a lot of time on this, but fasting is the way to go. It's the most amazing thing ever. All right, folks. Y'all have a great night. But I forgot to mention one thing before I go. So I know I'm talking about going on ketosis, and I'm talking about fasting. I have to make this very clear, okay? Go talk to your doctor before you go on this, right? Because you can have a medical condition that is not appropriate for fasting. Like if you're diabetic already, then that's an issue, right? You want to make sure that you consult a doctor. Do your own research. Make sure that you know exactly what it is you're doing and listen to your body, right? But yeah, you should consult your doctor because again, although I do have practice and my practice, this anecdotal, right? But still, you're going to want to make sure that you see at least a doctor and they know exactly what you're doing. All right, folks. Have a great night. Peace.